Naila, why is English language important to learn?
This is because English language is an international language and is widely followed and understood by people across the world.
I want to learn this language.
To learn every language, there are some skills to develop. Follow this class to learn these skills.
We are most grateful to you for having had time to be with us so far in our set of lessons on Introduction to Literature. We have had 11 lessons so far, and this will be the last one, that's the 12th lesson on our Introduction to Literature. We wouldn't have been able to discuss everything under this topic, Introduction to Literature, but we shall have the opportunity to continue with it in our next set of lessons. Let me take this opportunity to welcome the class for the lesson. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good. As we mentioned, we have setting. The last time we met, we looked at setting 1, and that introduced us to what setting means and some items we need to take note of when we are discussing setting. Today we are looking at setting 2. We are still discussing, of course, elements of literature. And then the objectives we've already looked at previously. We are going to look at the ways to identify certain literary works. And we said in the previous lesson that for us to be able to identify our certain literary work, there were things we need to discover, or we said there were certain things that were very unique to people of different localities. And we apply the same thing. Since characters are made to live in the world of human beings, we apply the same thing to characters. And what were these things we mentioned that are guide in helping us to identify certain in a literary work? Munira, you gave us one?
Name.
Name of what?
Name of a character.
The name of a character is one. Good. Yes?
Language you speak.
Language who speak?
The character speaks.
Okay, the language of the character.
The occupation of the character.
Speak up.
The occupation of the character.
Of the characters, the occupation of the characters. Apart from these three, any other that we did mention? Yes? Masru?
The settlements of the character.
Yes, the settlement is also the location, the community. At times, it is being mentioned by the creator of the characters. Yes. Apart from the settlement, what else? Yes?
Costume.
Costume. The costume the characters what? Wear is important. Not the costume of the narrator, but the costume of what? The character. I can be from Ghana, but create my characters to be coming from Nigeria. Do you get it? Good. Okay, that's good. So we mentioned that names of the characters. We also mentioned the language the characters will speak. We mentioned the food the characters eat. Then we mentioned the costume. Then the occupation, that's the various activities the characters are engaged in. The settlement as well. Then the various rites performed by what? The characters. The various rites that are performed by the characters. So we shall take one after the other and discuss how these contribute in identifying certain. We say identify certain by the names of what? The characters. How do I use the name of the character to identify the certain for my literary work? So throughout the world, names are given for specific reasons. Is it true?
Yes.
You all have names.
Yes.
And your names do have meanings.
Yes.
Good. Each country and tribe has some specific names used largely by them. Is it true? Each country and tribe has specific names. They mostly use such names.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me come to your area, each of you. You tell me names that mostly are used by your people. Who should I start with? Okay, let me start with Munira.
India. Asantua.
Speak.
Asantua.
Asantua.
Boatma.
Boatma. Okay.
Chumwa.
Chumwa. These are coming from Akan-speaking areas. Okay, in Ghana.
Yes.
Okay, but you should know that those who speak Akan are not only found in Ghana. Ivory Coast, they are there. We have some section of Akans in Ivory Coast. So Ivorians also have such names. Yes? Your area?
Our area.
Speak up, please.
Erasum.
Erasum.
Turesum.
Turesum.
Minimbang.
Mili?
Minimbang.
Okay, which area is that?
Wala.
The Wali speaking area. And you?
Number.
Mm-hmm.
Hera.
Okay.
Juno.
Okay. So these are also names common to your area. I'm sure that is also Wali speaking area. Go. So you see. I also do have such names commonly used by people from my area. So say for example, the names Kweku, Anansi, Sika, Mauli are common to the Ghanaian what? Settings. You hear this name, you conclude that, oh, these people are what? Ghanaians. But it's also not only Ghana, but the fact is that these are common to Africa. These names are common to what? Africa. Then when you come to Africa, you can now have Ghanaians, you can have some Ivorians, you can also have some Togolese using some of these names. We say brown, for example, Oliver, for example, oil are common to European what? Settings. So you will see someone or characters decorated with these names, the second one, and you conclude that they are Africans. Some people will tell you, no, these are people who are not from where? Africa. So Adam, Abdurrahman, Samira are common to the Arabs and what? Islamic what? Settings. Immediately you see characters with this name. These people, either they are Arabs or they are from what? Islamic what? Setting. So Okonko, Oberika, Chinu are also common to the what? Nigerian settings. So you meet such names. Oh, these are Nigerians. And all are what? Africa. Do you follow?
Yes.
Okay. So by the names of the characters, it becomes very easy to identify the setting, that's place of the what? Literary work. Becomes easy. The names the characters use, you can easily tell that this is the place this character is coming from. Then we had characters like lion, tiger. You see that? It tells us where they are coming from. From where? The wild what? World. They are from the wild world. That's where? Forest. But not a thick forest. Because we wouldn't have lion running in a very thick forest. A forest where a grassland kind of forest. Lion will need space to run. If it's a thick forest, it can't run through it. Tiger will need space to run. So if it is a thick forest, it can't run through. They will need some grassland where they can what? Run and catch their what? Prey. Do you follow? Yes. Good. Then you see characters like Ebubro, dove, hawk, and others. Then it tells you the kind of place. They will need what? What would they need for them to be able to survive? Dove, hawk, and other flying characters. What would they need? What would they need for them to be able to survive? Air. Yes? Air. We all need air. Every living thing needs air. So air is out. They will need what? Yes, think.
Cereals.
They will need cereals. Fine, but no. They will all need trees. Where do they put their nests on? On trees. You can have birds flying like a buburu, like hawk, that's dove, like hawk, and others. And then with our trees around, they will need what? Trees for them to perch on, to build their nest on. They say even within a particular country, it is easy to identify the specific tribe or town of the character through the what? The name. So you may see, okay, this is a Ghanaian setting. But within Ghana, where specifically is it coming from? Is the character coming from? You'll be able to tell. So as we mentioned wild animals. But within wild animals, we have some who are from the water bodies. We have some who are on trees. We have some that live in thick forest. We have some that live on grassland. Do you follow me? Some of the characters we will be expecting to meet under the water bodies will be who?
Shark.
Yes?
Shark.
Shark will be one, yes?
Fishes.
Yeah.
Fine. Which fish in particular? If you say fishes, you have included shark and all those things. What kind of fish in particular, yes?
Octopus.
Octopus, good. So we'll be meeting characters like that. Then it tells us that it is from the water bodies. So example, the character with the name Mauli in Ghana will suggest what tribe? If in Ghana, let's assume if you're able to limit it, it's Africa, it is Ghana. Then the character is with the name Mauli. Which tribe do you think is coming from? Which area? Yes, Munira?
The Elwes.
Speak up.
Elwe.
In the Ewe land. And where are they found? The Ewes, where are they found? Yes.
In the Volta region of Ghana.
We can't hear you.
In the Volta region of Ghana.
Okay. So these are specific examples. We say identifying certain by the language of what? The character. So we'll finish with the name. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, what is it?
So a question.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you use the name to identify the time?
Time. Yes. Is it possible to use a name to identify time? The time of setting as time. Is it possible? Yes, it is. It's also possible. Before, for example, the Europeans came into Africa, we didn't have names like, your Islamic name is what? Munira. We didn't have names like Munira. It came after the Europeans, the Asian people, like the Arabs, came into Africa. That's when you have that name Munira. Your great-grandfather didn't have any name attached to his name like Munira. Your great-grandparents, huh? Your Islamic name is?
Masrur.
Your great-grandfather didn't have a name like that. So you see, by the name Masrur, it's giving us that you are living in a period after the Arabs have invaded Africa or had come to what? Africa. So we are able to give time. Good. And when we even go deeper, we will still be able to still identify the period more than before. So the name, in Africa, for example, all those with the Arab names attached to their names or the Christian names like George, John attached to their names, they all have these names after the Christians, the European Christian had come to Africa, right? So be able to still identify the time by that. Not time, say, yesterday or tomorrow, but time in terms of a particular period. Do you get me? Good. So the language we speak identifies us with a particular tribe and what? Town. So, right? I speak a different language from you. My language is Mwar. Can any of you speak that? No. You speak what? Chi. And you?
Wale.
Wale. And what of you?
Wale.
Can you speak Wale? Okay. So each one of us has his or her own what? Language. Not we those here, but every human being has his own language. And it is important you understand your own language. Very, very important. So characters in words of literature, in most cases, are made to express themselves in their what? First language. Your own language is your first language. Huh? So the Twi you speak is your first language. The Wali you speak is your what? First language. The Mwara I speak is my first language. Characters also do have. Since they are coming from a specific place, it means they have their what? First language. That is determined for them by the what? The creator, the one who creates them. You get me? Good. We say this happens mostly in state of despair or what? Great happiness. It can happen that the narrator is using the English language or is using a particular local language to narrate his or her story. So you see almost all the characters speaking what? English. Or you see all the characters speaking a particular local language. But that doesn't mean they are English speakers. For example, we are speaking English now. I'm not a Scottish or an Englishman. You aren't. None of us here is an English person. The reason we are using the English language is because that's the easiest way for us to understand what? One another. If I begin to speak my language now, you wouldn't understand me. We may understand you. If you speak Chi right now, maybe we may all understand you. But when they also start speaking the Wali, not all of us would understand them. Do you follow? So narrators, the poet, the playwright, they use English language or French or any other local language so that a majority of the people that they want them to have access to their work can understand. But that doesn't mean that is the language of the characters. Do you follow? The characters have their own language. Just as we are using English now for our lesson, doesn't mean we are English men and women. We all do have our own languages. How do you now see the character speaking his or her own language? At times, the narrators give us a chance. When the character is very happy, you see the character say something in his own language. We see that. Or when the character is in a state where the character is worried, you see the character speaking in his own or her own what? Language. These are instances. So immediately you see that. It gives, oh, okay, this character. So the character may be having the name Kofi. But you now see the character speaking Ewe or speaking Wale, as you mentioned. Then you go, okay, even though this character has the name Kofi, but the character is also revealing a particular area to us. So you now have to determine where the character is actually coming from. And that will help you in determining your setting. We say, and even at times in normal conversation with other what? Characters. At times when characters want to say something to another character and believes that character understands their own language, they begin to speak their own what? Language. They don't speak the language the narrator might have given to them. We say how to identify the setting by food of what? The characters. So we are coming to what? Food. So say Tozafi, which is commonly known as TZ. There's this food known as Tubani. It's a kind of food made from beans, family. Then there's also another food known as Fili, made from mixture of some vegetables and corn flour. Are common delicacies in my localities. In my locality, I don't know of yours. I don't know if they are Akan-speaking locality. Is Tozafi your delicacy? No. I'm sure you've never heard of even Tubani before. But the Wale-speaking people might have heard of Tubani. Good. We say, which foods are your delicacies in your area? Yes. Fufu. So you see a character eating fufu, then it tells you. Nigerians also like it, but they have difference. The Nigerians like the yam fufu, and then the Akans like the cassava and plantain what? Fufu. Good. We say the delicacies of the characters reveal a lot about what? The setting. It tells us both the place and the time. Right now, you see a character eating fried rice. It tells you that it is modern what? Time. It's not in the olden days. You have a character taking fried chicken, taking KFC. It tells you it is in the modern what? Time. Good. So carefully watch out the food the characters eat if there is any. So at times, if a food is mentioned, take note of the kind of food the characters are eating. It tells you that this is a place, and this is also what? The time. Good. Then we are looking at the costume. How do we use costume of the character to determine the place and the time? So a costume is a kind of attire characters are decorated with in literary what? Works. If it is a drama, you see them wear it. Do you get that? If it's not a drama, but it is a prose, you will see the narrator decorating them. Even in drama that you do not watch, you read, the playwright would tell us the kind of costume the characters wear. So these include what is worn on the head, their face, hands, legs, and what? The entire body. So when we talk of costume, it's not just the shirt or the dress or the trousers or the pants, no. But anything at all the character puts on. We say the kind of shirt, dress, trouser, footwear are all what? Part. So all kinds of jewels worn by characters are part of what? Costume. All these help us to know the time and the place. So to determine the setting of our particular piece of literary work. We are still on costume. We say each village, city, nation, and continent has its unique what? Costume. We all do not wear the same thing. If you watch movies coming from the Indian sub-region, you see how they dress. Do they dress like movies coming from the Italian background?
No.
No. The Americans movies, do they dress like the African movies? No. Good. So some of these can never be missing in any function held in such what? Places. The costume they wear will tell us the kind of setting, both time and place setting. So mention some costumes unique to your area. Which costume are unique for your area? Yes?
Fugu.
Fugu, okay. Fugu is common. Fugu is sewn with, it's hand-woven kind of material, right? Yes?
Kaba and slate.
Kaba and what?
Slate.
But there's one thing you are not mentioning, kente. There are other, almost in every part of Ghana, have their own kente. Yes. But the one popularly known is a kente from the Akans area. That is mostly known in the world. But it is not only the Akans that have the kente in Ghana here. Almost each ethnic group in Ghana has its own what? Kente. But you mentioned fugu, then you are mentioning slit and what? Kaba. So when poet, playwright, and narrators decorate characters in specific costume, it is to give a specific what? Message. So you need to take note of that. So when you see that, when you see the costume, take note. The costume is telling us the time and what? Place. When you see a character from Africa with tie and suit, what time does it tell you? Modern or ancient time? Modern time. Modern time. Good. So this is for you. How do the following help us identify certain literary works? You tell me. Occupation of characters, settlements of the characters, various rites performed by the characters. How do they help us? I'm sure you do know. Good. This is where we bring our lessons on Introduction to Literature to an end. We'll continue in our next series of lessons. But before we come in summarizing all that we have done, there's a short drama or story I had asked each of you, or poem, to present. I've not forgotten, it was a task, right? So when I summarize all that we have done, you give me your stories, your poems, or your drama, and then we end it. Throughout our lessons, the 12 set of lessons, this is what we've discussed so far. We've looked at the following in this aspect, we've looked at meaning of literature. And we said literature has three what? Meanings. The one we have paid attention to is what? Literature studied in what? In school. And we say it is an art, a work of an imagination for the purpose of what? Entertaining and educating what? People. Any work of imagination, the purpose is to what? To educate and what? Entertain. Good. We don't say the purpose is entertainable. No, we say the purpose is to entertain. Good. Then we looked at elements of literature. Elements of literature, what are the terms we mentioned? Yes?
Plot.
Plot, good.
Theme.
Come again.
Theme.
Theme, good, yes?
Setting.
Eh?
Setting.
Come again.
Setting.
Setting, good. What else? That's not all. Yes?
Characterization.
Characterization. There's still another that we were not able to discuss. Yes?
Figurative.
Speak up.
Figurative
Figurative what?
speech.
Figurative speech. We didn't tackle figurative speech. We shall tackle it in our next set of lessons on literature. Good. So we'll look at characterization, and the characterization we'll look at meaning. We'll look at the protagonist, what it means, antagonist, round and flat characters. Yes. What do you say are characters? Who are characters in the work of literature? Then we talked about plot. Then we mentioned theme, and we mentioned what? Sub-themes. Then we discussed what? Setting, and that is what we just finished discussing now. So it's been grateful having you throughout this set of lessons. If you have any question, ask. You were supposed to share with us your short story or poem or drama, but unfortunately, time isn't on our part and you won't be able to share with us. But if it happens, you are still with us in our next set of literature lessons, I will still take that up from you because it's important you share with us. Having done all this, you should be able to create at least 9 stories for us. Our viewers, it's been 12 set of lessons under this aspect, Introduction to Literature. As it is already noticed, we haven't been able to exhaust everything we want to discuss, but we'll be able to tackle most of the important things we need to know before we go into details discussing any text at all in literary work. We have done this to enable us to be able to study any work of literature, have a better understanding, and appreciate it very well. It is important I mention that if we forget these things we've discussed, especially the various elements of literature, if we forget them, it will be very difficult for us to analyze any work of literature and have a better understanding of it. Each work of literature, prose, poetry, or drama, has its specific way of studying it. But what we have just studied are general to all of them and are very important for anyone who is trying to understand any work of literature. We hope to see you again on the continuation on our discussion, Introduction to Literature, in our next set of lessons. But before then, please do try your best, revise, and be with us the next time we meet you again. As I mentioned, we shall be discussing Oliver Twist. We shall be discussing The Dilemma of a Ghost, which is a drama, and some other lessons that we shall be looking at. These are texts under the book, The Cockcrow, that is made available for those of us in Ghana who are going to write the Basic Education Certificate Examination. Until we have the opportunity and the blessings of Allah to meet you again next time for this set of lessons, we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.